Hello guys, welcome to today's video. I am Jack with My Girl Budgeting, and on today guys, I am going to be working on my budgeting. So as most of you know, or if you're new and if you're familiar with my channel, I have taken a different step, a different approach on my budgeting. And so with that, I am recording these videos so that hopefully it helps me work on tweaking up whatever I need to do for my budgeting, as well as figuring out what errors I need to correct, and what different things different scenarios for different things, and then hopefully tracking all of these categories and so on and so forth to help me maintain some sense of balance on my budgeting. And so with that, that's what I'm going to be focusing on today, is my budgeting. It is a new concept for me. It is a different way of training my brain, so it's a learning process, and this is why I'm bringing you guys along with me. So maybe it'll help you guys understand a process for yourself, but also it's okay to change things up. If one thing is not working anymore, or you're finding that it's not playing any value to you, then it's okay to change. And so this has been a big change for me. What I'm doing now is going to you guys are going to see me doing these budgeting videos like this, and I'm working on it out. And then also I'm trying to find ways to make it better, so that, maybe next month it might look a little bit different from what I showed you guys the previous month. But that's just because I'm working through it. Hopefully, in time I will be able to have a full view of, it fully functioning and able to, make it work for me the best way it can. And so on today's video, guys, what are we doing with budgeting? Well, I am going to the bank. Yes, this is what we're going to be doing today, is going over to the bank. And that's just literal. I'm not I'm not really going to the bank, guys, but in my budgeting binder, I am. So as far as you guys know, I have worked on creating a new budgeting process for myself, and so with that, I have this worksheet that I'm gonna have. Typically every 3 months I go through my bank statements. I do it probably like a quarterly thing, and I review the previous 3 months bank statements, and I categorize everything. I have been doing that since I started budgeting. It's a means for me to see, look at my spending, looking at what I've indulged in at times, and, finding those things that I need to work on to better my finances. Well, with me changing my budgeting, as you guys know, I am starting to track my spending manually. Of course I have my bank statement. Of course I can go print out my bank statements for the past 3 months, go through them, and since this is new to me, I still am going to do that. But I also am starting to write out all my expenses, and that comes here somewhere. I know I have it somewhere. There it is. Writing out all my expenses. So this is all my cash expenses. This is all my drafts, my ACHs, my debit spending, all here, which I do need to update it. I still have spent so far this week. But that's going to be a weekly basis. I'm not trying to do it on a daily basis because I don't want to do it too far out, like every 2 weeks, because I know that will make me forget everything that I purchased. but right now I'm probably gonna do it every 3 days, just because, especially if I know I'm spending, I want to be able to write down everything that I spent. So this is like my bank statement. This is everything that I'm going to be writing out, and it's good to be able to look at it throughout the month, throughout the weeks, throughout the days, and look and just determine, like, hey, we need to cut that, you need to stop a little bit on what you're doing. Slow your roll. You're trying to budget and get out of debt. By you purchasing those things, was it necessary? Was it more of a want than a need? And so those are the things that I want to be able to, hold myself accountable for. And so that's what I'm doing here. But also, with me doing that, I still want to get an average of what my costs are. This will help me, start budgeting, those cash wallet envelopes that I'm going to be having to, like, say, okay, yeah, I'm averaging for those 3 months, maybe on groceries, I'm averaging probably $300 to $400 a month. So I need to make sure that I carry $300 to $400 in cash for my groceries, instead of like, oh, well, I'm gonna put 150 here and 150 here. And especially because of me getting paid, on a different schedule now, twice a month on, the 15th and the 30th, that has to, it's impacting my spending a lot more. I mean, it's just more putting a tight grip on it for 2 weeks rather than, because I need to make sure I'm paying my bills that pertain to that paycheck. So, but yeah, so what I did was, what I do, and this is something I've always done since I started budgeting, is I print out 3 months of my statement. These are basically the first, this is for May, this one is for June, and then this is April. So I have April, May, and June. And then I have all my categories. I've always highlighted, I've, categorized them. They have become bigger because I'm making sure I account for more of the priority ones, the ones that are more, a priority over others, and just to hopefully, cut spending where it might not be needed, So that's what I have here. It is all 3 months. I did go through each. It took me, I think I did this like over the weekend on Sunday. I got up, I was watching videos all day on YouTube, and then I just started working through this, marking off all of my different categories. And I highlight like whatever, if this is a debit, this is a credit. That's how I highlight each of them. Let me see. Let me find mine. I won't show you all of them because, it is still very private information that I am showing you guys by showing you this. I am giving you full disclosure. It's not, hopefully I'm not giving my information out. But yeah, and I try to mark off everything I could. So, probably shouldn't even be doing that. But anyways, so yeah, so that's what I ended up doing here. Now, this is my bank statement. This is something I created for myself because I want to average each of the categories that are more priority, and on a regular basis from my month to month. I want to track each month, and I'm going to look at this, for the full year and go through them and look at my spending, look at what I, maybe I should have cut back on, and so on and so forth. So it's finding those ways to help budget yourself, plan ahead, focus on the priority of things in life and in your, in your life, and just, working out the kinks basically. And so that's what I'm doing here. So with that being said, I do have all of the categories here that I am going to be putting onto my bank statement. So for each of them, I have, like, I'm gonna go start with April and then with May and June. So this might be a little bit of a long, you know, video but I'm going to speed through any of the stuff that I'm writing in, so at the end you guys can see when I tally it up, everything. So let me get a pen real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and get my different colored pens so that I can, you know, use them according to my color categories. So for bills, we're going to jump into, let's do food first. Food will probably be the easiest, food and gas. So for food for April, and since I'm starting barely fresh on this, I'm going to do this all the way through next April, or all the way through March of next year. So, and then I'll be able to give an average overall for the year. So that's my hope. As long as I stay on task, and, you know, if I'm doing this on video and recording this, I think it'll help me stay accountable and stay on top of it. Okay, so we got for May, we have 100. Let me make sure this is May. That is June. So this is May. There are some big differences here in this spending that I have. Let's see. June. Okay, so we have car maintenance. So car maintenance for June doesn't have anything. April, May. April, I know there was, I think there was one. Or maybe it was May. Oh yeah, it was May. May had $14. Okay, for medical, for June is the only one that, oh no, 30. And then April was 133, 30. Okay, business. We had 26.43, and then 45.32. Okay, next up is self-care, so I put that for beauty. So we have, for April, we have $535.21 for April. So $535.21, and this includes hair, nails, makeup, what else? Clothes. Because typically for me, you know, self-care for me is clothes. Whenever I can, I will buy me something. So, and I think at that time I was buying my clothes for work, so I could say that majority of that $535 was work related, because me starting a new job, I needed to get clothes, as this is more business casual work attire, and at my other job I could wear jeans and a t-shirt and it was okay, so I had to get clothes that would, you know, was appropriate for work. So that's why that is high for that month. Because any other month, it's been a little bit lower. So for May, we had $163.91. And then for June, we had $128.10. Okay, so we have pets. Do I have anything on pets? I don't think I had anything for pets on as far as through my account, because I pull for the cash on that, which I do have everything from cash as well, disbursements. Let me make sure I don't have anything on pets, just to confirm. Okay, no, I don't have anything on pets. Okay, and then entertainment. So entertainment for April was $10. And then for car maintenance though, guys, I will say for April, now that I think about it, I had just $5,366.20. That was for me getting my car fixed. If you guys did not see my live back in April, I did have to, beginning of April, I went and pulled out almost $5,000 worth of savings out of all my binders, everything. I pulled all my cash out to help pay for my car, and I had it, and that's, you know, that was a blessing in and of itself, because if I had not saved for as long as I had that money, which I'm starting over on everything, guys. So this is just something new with the budgeting, but I also, I have all new savings or restarting from all that. But I saved, and I had that money, and I didn't have to stress about, oh my gosh, I don't have nothing to pay for that. I can't do it. You know, I can't use my credit card. All that, those things went out the door when my fridge went out. I didn't, I was not, without my fridge for about a week. And I had to buy me a new fridge. I had the cash to pay that because of my savings, because of the fact that I put $1 to every wallet, every little envelope that I have. It adds up. And I was able to do that. I was able to pay $900 worth for a new, I think it was 900, maybe it was 1,000. It was around that much for a new fridge. Last year, I was same thing with the washer. I had to buy a new washer, and I ended up paying full cash for it. I didn't have to finance it. I didn't have to use my credit card. I didn't have to go into overdrafting, anything like that, because of savings. That's the whole point of this. Everything that I do, everything that we do in the community of budgeting is so that we don't have to stress about the unexpected, and we always are able to use the money we've saved. Right now I could probably pull good $300 that I have in savings and just use it toward anything. And I probably should, thinking about it, I probably should use it toward my debt, to pay off some of those credit cards more down, and that's something I'm considering. But this is ways to look at this stuff. So this is just very eye-opening for me to be able to track all of this, especially when I'm looking at what I pay each category. That is very much a priority in my life. So just look at it that way. You guys can get a sheet of paper and do the same thing, you know, concept. Go get your bank statement from your bank tomorrow, you know, just say, hey, I need a printout of my last month's bank statement. You don't have to do all 3 months. You can start with 1 month. And eventually, you'll know, maybe you'll be able to do it on every 3 months. I'm going to get back into doing it once a month just because I want to be able to see these numbers every month. And so that's just something to consider whenever you're looking at your finances. It is so easy to pull that debit card out and use it, and then also go into overdraft if you have overdraft privileges. And then you're thinking, oh, like I did. I honestly would think that all the time. When it came to me overdrafting my account, I would honestly say, oh, well, I got $500 worth of overdraft privileges. I'll go ahead and pay it now. Take the $30 to $35 fee extra to pay what I'm going to pay because I didn't have the money for it. And then on top of that, like, just let that roll over. And then once my check gets deposited, of course, it's going to take all that money back. And I did that for years, guys. And I'm pretty sure, well, I mean, we're all, you know, I would say we're all victims to the financial institutions of banks because they live off of what we do and overdrafting. And I honestly believe that now. You know, if I could pull all my cash every freaking time I get paid, I would love to do that. But I also have my certain bills get drafted out of my bank. And that's just one less headache I have to worry about sending the payment to, cash or checks or, you know, paying. I don't have to worry about all that. So these are just ways of and ideas to help utilize what we are given and what things that start looking at the bigger picture. You know, they give us a statement in the hopes that we don't look at our statement. That's the way I look at it. For me, you know, not many people will go through their bank statement. You know, people in the budgeting community, they do, you know, because it's something that we've learned. You know, not all of us were taught about finances early on in our lives. And this is something that we've learned to come, learn from the mistakes we've made. So that's just something, I'm not trying to get on a soapbox, guys, or not, but I just it's mind-boggling to me when I hear friends and family still complain about finances and money, but they don't take steps to fix it, so it's like, oh, well, because I have, one friend who will tell me left and right that she's completely broke, but oh, well, we're going to go to San Antonio. We're going to go to the Fiestas. We're going to go to this. We're going to go. But you were just telling me you don't have money for that. How is that being smart and wise with your money? It's not. And I mean, I told my friend that, so I'm okay to say this out loud. But I just feel like I hear enough people complain about finances and enough of friends that tell me they're struggling and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, just freaking put a freaking envelope away and put $5 in it. You don't think about it. You don't, and you won't. So I mean, I do. I mean, it's not like I'm, trying to be higher than thou because I'm good. I look at my finances that way now. But when people complain enough to me and they're I need to find a solution, I do give them that solution, and I tell them hey, I mean, one of my friends can attest to that. She had a car fixture that she needed to do months ago, and she never saved money. She never put it away. And so she basically would just, whatever credit card she used, she would typically use that. After the fact, she had told me, she's like, Jacqueline, if it wasn't for you teaching me that, and it's just that simple, we would have never had that money to cover the cost cash on hand without any using the debit card or anything like that. We had it. So that's what my takeaway is from this. That's what I hope to bring to somebody who's also trying to figure out how to budget themselves, how to learn the budgeting process, and also that it doesn't have to be boring. I remember there was one time when I was 18, I remember my dad sat me down, and he was like, let's sit down, let's write out all your bills, and we're going to go through them. And we're going to say, okay, this is how much you make, this is what you're looking to pay. And he did. But me being 18, stubborn-minded, I knew more than he did, or I was 18 and on my own, and you whatever, that was my attitude toward when my dad tried to help me with that. It was, I turned an eye on it. So I didn't get that concept of what he was trying to show me. So, but in time, it, you learn it, and so it's easy to change. I mean, everybody is capable of change. Everybody can make a change. It just takes the initiative and the motivation, but also you need that community. Community is everything to me. And if I didn't have this community, I probably would not keep going at it. But I am. And I've pushed myself to do it. And I enjoy doing it. Even if let's say this. Because, you're watching me on YouTube. And you're like, well, I'm never going to get on YouTube. I take that. You don't want to do that whole concept of doing a video just to stay accountable or keep motivated. But all you have to do is record yourself doing it. Just record it. Set your phone up on a little, majority of us use our phones to record. One day I hope to have my camera set up where I can actually use my camera to record, but we don't. So you just prop your phone up, record. It doesn't have to be perfect, but record it for yourself. Rewatch it, see where you can find those mistakes, because I know once I look through this video, whenever I post it, I know I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have talked about this. Oh, I should have moved this over here. I should have put that category with that. Things like that are going to stick out to you, and because what do? We are our own worst critic. We will criticize ourselves. We will say our voices sound crazy. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have put my hand like that. Things like that. You do it. But that doesn't matter. I mean, if you're not going to post it on YouTube, but it's something for you to educate yourself on budgeting and learning the mistakes that you made through this process. And then also, to make it fun. You don't have to start this. This is heavy duty. This is me working out a plan for myself on my budgeting. And if you guys want to join, I encourage it. I want it to, to come on board. I want to hear those stories of, of success or the failures, even the failures. I want, to hear that where you made mistakes and you figured it out and then you were able to, fix it. So use the platform as best as you can. Get ideas, take them for yourself, use them for yourself, and then work out a better process that works for you. And that's just what I'm hope to instill in everybody by doing this. I mean, I am being very transparent with my finances. I've not yet gotten this far to be so transparent with everybody. Ever, I don't think, on my YouTube. I mean, I've discussed it and whatnot, but I've never gotten into detail about everything that I'm spending. And I am now. And it's just like, no, maybe this will help somebody. Maybe this will, give somebody that edge to say, the hell with this. Let's figure this out. You know, let's figure out why our finances are, you know, are destroying us rather than helping us, you know? So that's all I want to say about that, guys. Sorry. I know it was a long one, but I get so passionate about it because it's just something that I wish I would have learned years ago, and I, you know, would have probably not been as far in debt as I am now. But I'm doing it. I'm working the process. I'm figuring it out, and I'm going to get out of debt, you know? And I want to do it before I'm not able to, you know, enjoy life, you know, still able to do the things that I want to do. So that's the whole point in this, is we all can be happy in our finances and not let it destroy us as it has done, you know, for a lot of people, you know. So let me go back onto this, guys, so I can finish it up. Get off the soapbox. You're like, enough, girl. We hear you. Enough. All right, so we have entertainment, $30 here. And then I don't think I had entertainment on this one. Nope, I did not. Okay, so that's that. Let me get the remainder of, so everything else is going to go into household miscellaneous. Let me just mark off everything that I've already, so I make sure I account for everything. Okay, so for household, for April, we're getting household and we're getting fees, because I did have an overdraft fee and also a Capital One draft. Let's see, let me just make sure those are the only two. And then cash, which I'm probably going to create a third column here, just because I'm going to add a cash, and I'm going to add those other things that I need to. And then income as well. Sorry guys, I'm not trying to yawn. I don't know why every time it gets around this time and it's still early, I'm yawning. 76. I think I tired myself out from all that talking. For household and 4250. What else? So 119.06. And then for April, got food, got fuel. Oh, 89.98. Uh, 198.08, because I am including birthday in that, so for the miscellaneous. And okay, that's it. So 288.06. Okay. Beauty, I got. Business, I got. Medical. Okay. So 66.98 plus 92 is 258.98. Okay. So at this point, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to, because this is 3 months here worth of each category that's been drafted, right? So I'm going to take all three amounts plus 101 So we have 79, 22, 77. No, that's not right. Yeah, that was not right. Oh my gosh, 12,375. Need a whiteout. Where's my whiteout? Okay. Yeah, so 12,375 and 67 cents for 3 months on bills. Just bills, guys. So why did I do that? 375. 12,375, 67 divided by 3. My average bill is 41.25.22. That is what my average, what I'm averaging. I did take all 3, I divided by the 3 months. That is what my medium is on what I'm averaging per month for bills. Okay, now we can take it a step further. Let's do it this way. 12,375, 67 divided by 4. Okay, I think I did that wrong. 4, 1, 2. I have no idea what I was trying to do on there. I was thinking I was trying to get a percentage, but what am I? I'm like, what am I getting a percentage of? I need to tally them all up. All right, so let's do that for all of these other ones. So we have, so this one I'm not going to do April's because April for car maintenance, because it was just a one-time fee. That is not going to be my average on a monthly basis of $5,000. So we're not, I'm going to go ahead and average, I mean, it's $14 is what I'm averaging, because I don't have to do car maintenance every month. So for medical though, plus 30 plus 30 is 193 divided by 3. So we're looking at an average of 64.33. And I'm gonna write this all out on a piece of paper. I'm just doing it this way right now. Plus 45.32 is 71.75 divided by 3 is averaging 23.92. Okay, food is a big one. Plus 507.37 plus what was that? 155.30 is 974.97. And you can go a step further with the food and just take out your categories and your food intake. I mean, your like dining out. That would probably give you a better average on where you're, if you're going over on your dining. But I incorporated both groceries and dining in out together. Divided by 3. So we're averaging about $324.99 a month. Okay, 535. And this is a way to be able to budget each of your cash envelopes, or you're budgeting for your bill. If you're doing a budget and then you get your actual, this is a way that you can, you know, average like, okay, well, I'm gonna set aside $4,000 for my bills. I'm gonna set $300 for my groceries. I'm gonna set $23 for my business, $64 for my medical. So those are this is just a way, a means to help you just strategize your bills and maintain a sense of clarity, but also a sense of relief knowing that you're allotting all those categories, each of their own fund, so that you don't go into the negative, you don't go into stress about all of these bills, okay? So that is $827 for self-care, which that should really drop. I don't typically spend $500 in 1 month. So so $275.74, and it will change. I mean, the next 3 months, whenever I do those all together, I will look at it every month, write it out. But every 3 months is where I'm gonna look at the averages, and if this changes from those 3 months, then I mean it's just a guide to help you restructure your money as time goes on. For fuel, and fuel is a little bit different as well, because the simple fact is, I mean, I pull cash from my fuel. These were just debit purchases at the time. I mean, and this is typically what I would probably spend. So $35, guys, because I don't go anywhere. I am home all the time. $35 is probably what all I go using gas. So nothing in pets. That may change in time. We got now entertainment. That's $40 divided by 3. So we're looking at $13.33. Now for miscellaneous and household and whatnot, let's see what our average is at. So we're at, don't like that number, 666.010 divided by 3. We are averaging about 222.03. Okay, so that is giving me my average. So next month, because I'm planning on doing August's budgeting a little bit earlier, now I'm going to be able to plan out budget out everything that I need to according to my average for the past 3 months, so that I maintain a sense of structure on this. So we have my bills. Well, I'm just gonna write out the amounts. So we have $425, okay, $41.25, 22. We have, oh, did I not do? Oh, $14 for car for month. This is by month, I'm not giving the totals for all 3 months. It's just an average by month. Medical, we have $64.33. We have $23.92 for my business. $324 for 99 for groceries and food. $275.74 for self-care. $35.33 for gas. Nothing for pets. And then $13.33 for entertainment. And this, I mean, this is going to help me also be able to adjust my cash. So, I mean, although some of this typically goes for cash, I mean, this should be completely cash, and I'm still pulling $324 out of my checking account. So that is where I need to make an adjustment there, because I'm not pulling enough for my food and just same for fuel. So fuel, I typically use my cash, but also these are justified because I left that money in there for fuel for that reason. So yeah. Okay, so then we tally up everything. Guys, do you ever feel like whenever you get around this time of the season that you're all about, like, you start getting the itch to watch scary movies? I don't know. That is how I get every time around this time, around July, August. I start getting in the mood to start watching scary movies, start looking at fall things and everything. It's and I'm like, wait, we're still in summers. But I'm wanting to watch a scary movie now, right now. Like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, ooh, I want to go watch Jeepers Creepers. And yes, I do love scary movies. I love Halloween. I love, I like the adrenaline rush of getting scared. All right, guys. So my average monthly cost, my monthly expenses, everything that I should be accounting for by month is $5,000 and well, $5,100 almost, is what I should be budgeting myself for. This is going to help me to now focus on August, getting my calendar ready for August, getting my budget sheets ready for August, because I'm going to use the concept of budgeting everything out according to everything here, and putting them into their category, putting them into their slot, wherever they fall. Accrue that money that I'm going to need, right? We accrue the money that we think we need, right? Then, well, we don't accrue it. We accrue it after the fact. But we budget out the money that we think we're going to need. And then at the end of the month, that's whenever we do our accruals and we figure out where we were minus and where we were positive, where we were out over, where we were under on our expenses, and where we need to make adjustments. Do I need to go and, spend, $200 worth of self-care stuff? No, because the only self-care that I really need is just my makeup stuff, which I get that every 3 or 4 months, and then my nails. That's all I really do for self-care. So it's just gonna be taking that time, learning your finances. It is very eye-opening. Like, this to me is a very eye-opening. Okay, and I'm already thinking ahead of the game. I'm like, okay, so now I want to go write out each of these categories, from my food all the way down to my household and miscellaneous items. And I want to, get ready, prepare myself. It is so much more better to be prepared for the future of your budgeting, and then to stress about it and not have a game plan. And especially for unexpected things that come, you just want to be prepared. And so this is just a guide to hopefully help you guys. I hope this helps, guys. It's helping me. I wish I need to cut some of this cost down. Really, I'm considering looking at what I've already cut out some. I will say I did cancel a subscription this month, so that's going to be nice to incorporate that into August budgeting, because I don't have to, well, for July, whenever I close out July, I'll be able to justify that. So that's going to be interesting to be able to, it's a extra $40 that I was able to bring back to myself. But yeah, so guys, I know this is long, so hopefully I can cut it short for you guys. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go fix this. I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna fix it where I can have another column of these. I do like this concept, going to the bank This is something that I think a lot of us need to use as a means to, because, you know, looking at, I had, for each of these statements, I had 8 pages, front and back, 8 pages, or no, it was just front, one-sided, but they were 8 pages. For me to go through all of these items, it took me an all-day thing for me to go through all 3 months. No joke and no lie. but also it's nice, it's a refresher, it's good to see this written out the way it is, giving myself averages, preparing for the next quarter of my expenses, and then making adjustments where I need to. But yeah, guys, let me know if you guys are doing something like this, if you know, have an idea of, you know, that you want to do it, or maybe if where you're struggling and you're not sure how to start it or where to go. I would love to, you know, let you know what you guys are doing, as far as if you guys do grab your bank statements on an average monthly basis, or if you do it, have ever done it. But I would suggest, guys, do at least 1 month. You know, take that time, print out your statement, go through them, categorize them. Okay, so you go through each of all of the debits that you've made, even your credits, even the paychecks that have gone in. You categorize them all, and you go and highlight your colors for each of them, and then you give yourself a total for each of category. So if you go to, you know, 5 different restaurants in that month, you get all 5 of them, count, you know, and color code them to your color, whatever choice. And then you give yourself an average of how much you're spending in that month. And just, you know, start playing with the idea of budgeting. I mean, using your bank statements. I'm telling you guys, it's very eye-opening. I can honestly say, looking at April was a busy month for me. But I can say that May, it lessened up on my spending outside of the norm as far as bills and whatnot. And then June, I probably had maybe 2, if anything. Let me see. Maybe it was May. May was probably the least amount of spend I had. But yeah, it's just very eye-opening. And then you start learning how to cut the costs. Like, hey, let's meal plan instead of going out to eat. You know, I have my meals planned out for the whole, you know, for this whole week. Until next week, I need to start planning for, you know, the next week. But I won't do that until I get my next budgeting, my next paycheck. So that will come in time. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me get off before I just keep going with y'all on this. And I can talk about this forever. Once I get started, that's like, oh no. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. And I hope you enjoy your day. And that let's go ahead and use hashtag bank for today's video, guys. It just lets me know you watched all the way up to here, gave that support, showing that love. I'm gonna go ahead and give you back your time. Much love, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.